Hey guys, I'm Lena, and today I'm going to be telling you how you can sound like a native, speak fluently, and perhaps even be mistaken for a native. So, as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, and I link it here as always, don't be afraid of speaking the language. Don't be afraid of talking in the language. So, what I've done is, I previously, in Spanish and French, I watched movies in Spanish and French, and I repeated back what the people were saying in the movie. I remember in Spanish particularly, it gave me a lot of clarity in the accent, and I remember just sitting on the couch and watching a movie and repeating what the person was saying, and it's like speaking to someone. And from the outside, it might look weird, but as a person who is learning the language, it's such good practice for you because it's just like talking to a native, except no one's there to correct you. So there's that little con. But as a pro, you're speaking, you're talking. And again, as I've mentioned in my previous video, rightfully so, you get used to the feeling of the language in your mouth. I just basically was a parrot for a while, just repeating what people were saying. Okay, so the next one is really fun and really important, and it's a really important step in sounding like a native. Learn idioms and phrases. So what I did was I searched up on the internet popular Spanish phrases, popular Spanish idioms that, natives use. And then in addition to that, again, movies, shows, podcasts, audiobooks, you hear what people are saying and you're like, wait, when you translate that in your head, that sounds like complete nonsense. And then you look it up and wow, it's an idiom that people use. A really good example of that would be ser pan comido, which is basically like to be a piece of cake. In English, it would be like bite the dust, kick the bucket, kind of phrases. Again, these are the phrases that natives use. Not every day, but they are popular. Another thing that goes hand in hand with learning idioms and phrases is learning slang words. As you may know, a lot of people use slang. An example of that would be tío or tía in Spanish. It basically translates to uncle. Another example would be vale, which a lot of Spanish people use. It's like, okay, all right, or let's go. So the interesting thing about slang words is they change throughout the dialects, and this is again a little reference to my previous video where I said choose a dialect because it's always going to be important. It's always going to pop up someday. Vale, sale, and dale are three different same words that sound different in three dialects. So vale would be Spanish, sale would be Mexican, and dale would be Argentinian Spanish. Another interesting one in French would be mec or meuf, which is basically like a dude and a chick, like a cool way to say a girl and a boy, Okay, so the next one is also really important, and it's actually really fun. Reading out loud and practicing reading out loud, and along the way, translating the words. So I've noticed that a lot of people actually use Harry Potter for this one. Harry Potter is just really easy. It has a lot of vocabulary that you might want to learn. The first chapter is really hard. You don't understand anything. You understand like 5% of the words, and it's words that everybody knows, So what happens is, in the first 5 chapters, you would learn these words. You would translate them on the way, highlight them, just add little notes. The thing is, these words would pop up in upcoming chapters. And the thing is, after a while, you already know these words that you didn't know in the first chapter. You know more by the 5th, you know a lot by the 10th, and then once you finish the book, you already understood like the last chapter. So the next one is writing. I have a little notebook that is essentially just my diary, because in it I used to write my everyday things. So the things that I did every day, what I ate, what I did, what I wanted to do, my plans for the summer, my plans for the winter. It's just basically like a little boring diary. And I kept it and I wrote it all in French. And I was doing this every single day. For the first few weeks, it felt really hard, and it was really hard because I needed to use the translator. But after a little while, again, words pop up. The French dictionary, or any dictionary in that matter, is not endless. There are words that will pop up eventually. And after a while, I was surprised at how freely I could write. And when you combine reading and writing, it's just good practice. The next one's actually really funny because, I mean, it's effective, but it's really funny. But I would pretend to already know the language. It's just like if I stubbed my toe or if I had a little accident, I wouldn't say ouch. I would say I. I incorporated so many of these little phrases that I, said every day. I also really love to vlog stuff. I know this isn't for everybody, but what I did was I would just pull up my phone, right? And I would film myself just doing like basic stuff. I would just say like, right now I am, cutting the tomatoes. Right now I'm frying some eggs. And last but not least, it's a little bonus, Quizlet. I see a lot of people using it for school to learn terms, but it's also a really great tool to learn languages because, as you will see on the screen right now, there are a lot of options such as flashcards, tests, matching words as like a game, and it's really fun. And then there's also vocalization of the words so you don't mispronounce anything. And a little bonus, tiny bonus, is 3 things you might also want to do to sound like a native. Is first one would be practice, second one would be practice, and the third one would be practice. Because practicing, especially every day, is one of the most important things you want to do. Even 20 minutes can make a change. You can do it as soon as you wake up, before you go to sleep if you're not too tired. In the middle of the day, sometimes we do have little slots in our day where, we're bored, and you can just pull up your little Quizlet or dictionary or whatever you're using, pull up your audiobook. Yeah, so these are the things that will definitely make you sound like a native, make you speak fluently. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye!